have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to the chairman of the Budget and Finance Committees, Scott Ruble.
All right, thank you. I will now call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. And the first thing I need is a motion to approve the agenda. Motion, Commissioner Taylor, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bolden. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we need a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes as written, but no additions or corrections. Suspend the reading.
Motion from Commissioner Savage, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Taylor. Any additions or corrections to said minutes? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll turn it over to you, Executive Member.
I will call the Financial Management Committee meeting to order, and I'll ask for a motion to approve our agenda. Got a motion from Mr. Taylor. Got a second, Ms. Ross. All those in favor of approving our agenda tonight, say aye. Aye. We have 5 members present tonight. I'll ask for approval of our minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve is presented and dispense with the reading.
Got a motion, Mr. Ruble, and a second from Mr. Taylor. Anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Being none, all those in favor of approving our minutes, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, passes unanimously. All right, I appreciate everybody coming here tonight, and I know this is a controversial issue that's facing the county right now. And I want everybody to be respectful. We're here to learn more about what's going on with our bus system for the schools. There's been a lot of comment and a lot of things run on social media that I want to clear up tonight, letting on like this is a rush thing. There was a pre-bid meeting, January the 13th. These bid proposals were opened January the 30th and logged in. And then our schools board actually had a meeting to approve who they wanted to go to. So everything has been above board. This has been talked about before that. There is another issue that everybody needs to understand how this will work tonight. Financial management will award a contract to somebody to allow Mr. Swallows to go and negotiate that contract. This issue will not be decided tonight. This issue will be decided at the March meeting because any contract over 1 year has to go before the full county commission and they have to vote. So anybody's told you this thing will be settled here tonight, that is wrong. That is not true. It will be the March county court meeting before a contract is here for any county commissioner to vote on, to have any vote. So I want everybody to understand what the procedure is. But right now, Mr. Swallows has 5 companies that he could have to go and negotiate a contract with. So that's got to be narrowed down. And if we don't like something's in the contract when it comes back, every commissioner in here will have his chance to say yes or no. So at this time, and there's another thing that's been told, that this was definitely put out as a 5-year contract. And Article 4, contract term and award, period of contract. The contract term shall be initial term, July 1st, 2026 to July the 30th, 2029. Option terms, up to 2 additional years, 1-year extension at the district's discretion with at least 30 days notice prior to expiration of then current term. So they can be a contract awarded. That's the way, if I'm not mistaken, Justin, the last contract with Durham is red.
It is. It has always been a 3-year term with 2 one-year extensions, at least since we started outsourcing our bus services.
So that means that the option terms can either be left out or they can be taken, either which way on this bid. And I guess at this point, Carlene, I'll turn it back over to you, or turn it to Mr. Swallows to let him explain the bid.
That would be great. Just go ahead and pass it.
I'll just turn it over to Mr. Swallows.
All right, thank you, County Executive Bell. So just try to give you as much information as I can. I handed out some materials, have copies of all 5 of the proposals that we received and opened a few weeks ago at this point. But I want to take you through as much information as I can possibly do, just the same way I did with the school board a week ago, just so that you have all the information. And understand that, just as County Executive Bell, there's been a lot said between last Tuesday and this Tuesday. My goal is simply to try to inform you as you make your decisions, for these committees make their decisions. One of the things that, as a member of financial management, when we take bids, or I bring bids from the school system to financial management, we always get a number of services or things that happen where we only potentially get one bidder. And so 5 years ago, when we went through the student transportation bid, we got one bidder. And so we came to financial management at that time. And one of the things financial management always does is say, we like to have more than one bidder if we can get it, right? So we went back out to bid at that point. And so Durham is the company that we awarded the bid to 5 years ago. That was a 3-year contract, as County Executive Bell said, and then we renewed those 2 one-year options at that point. So we knew, and actually we even discussed last year in negotiations with Durham, they were talking about trying to raise the wages for the drivers. And so we talked about just ending the contract last year and going out to bid. In discussions with the board, they didn't feel comfortable with doing that at that point. So we did the 5th-year option. And so in 2024, that was in February 2024, we formed a committee at that point to start work on knowing that we were going to have to go out to bid in 2025. And so that transportation committee began the process. And so I want to brag on that committee. They did a fantastic job of going through and looking at our current request for proposal, or RFP, and trying to make sure that we streamlined all that, make sure we have everything in there that we need to, make sure everything's being done the way it was supposed to be. And so they spent hours and hours and hours on that, trying to get to that process. And so they did that throughout 2025 and got to December to where we were able to put the RFP out so that companies could put in their proposals. And so what we did is put that together, and then in January, we opened the blind bids. And so 5 companies bid on or put in a proposal. So that in and of itself, we felt like was a good thing. We had the opportunity to create some competition and make sure that people were interested in providing our student transportation. And so those 5 companies were Student Transportation of America, GG&C Bus Service, First Student, Durham School Services, and EcoRide. And of course, Durham Services being our current vendor. So one of the things that I want to talk about with that RFP was that we wanted to be more specific in a few ways. And so there were some core elements in all the proposals. One of the things that we knew, and we've been hearing for the last few years, is that our school bus driver wages needed to go up, and to be competitive, and also just to do the right thing by our drivers. So I said at the board meeting last week that the bus drivers are the first person our kids see in the morning and the last person they see in the afternoon. Our bus drivers do a really great job, and they're passionate about what they do, as we can see tonight. And so we appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. I appreciate that they're a team, and but they believe in what they do. That shows that they're passionate about what they do. And so we appreciate that. So we wanted to make sure that there was no gray area for drivers' wages being raised. So Warren County Schools put it in the proposal that everybody would start, every company that bid would start with a minimum pay for a starting driver would be $22. For the monitors, it would go up from 12 to 14. So that was mandated. So every company had to do that, right? And so we knew going into this, by doing that, the companies were simply going to pass that along back to Warren County Schools, which is what most businesses or all businesses would do. But again, knowing that, we wanted to make sure that the drivers and all the employees got some sort of raise all the way up and down the line. Now, that may be at the starting pay at $22, but if you've been driving for a number of years, all the companies told us that there is going to be a pay scale to where everybody will go up, and as far as pay goes. And so again, that also shows Warren County Schools' belief in our employee or in their employees in driving our kids. We wanted to make sure that they had that pay increase that was stipulated in the proposal. We were looking to make sure that whatever company, if it was a different company, would commit to hiring our local drivers, because that's what we know to be the best case scenario, because our drivers live here, work here. We want them to do that. Also, competitive employee benefits packages. One of the things that we weren't expecting, but all companies added in their proposals, was new technologies that's coming along, AI drive cameras and driver coaching technology for monitoring and training. All of the companies actually said that they were going to do that. I don't think that's completely fully implemented around all of that yet, but those were some commonalities. So what the committee did once we opened bids was to try to take the pricing and determine what was doable in our budget. All right. So as we said, there were 5 companies that bid. And so knowing that we had put that pay raise in the bid, we knew right off the bat that the lowest increase was going to be $669,179.40. If you look on this page that I gave you, there's a backside with a blue box that says year 1 increase to the budget on the bottom left. Year 1 increase to the budget. So I want to make sure that we start there. So last year for our contract, we paid $2.53 million, and that's without fuel. That's what we paid last year. So when we opened these bids, we knew right off the bat that it was going to be a $669,000 increase if we went with the lowest bidder. If you look at that line item, it'll go from 669 to 996, 1,393, 1,707, 1,831. So the committee at that point felt like that 1.8 million and 1.7 million were just outside the range of possibility. And so the committee invited the lowest 3 bidders to come to Warren County and provide additional information about their proposal. And that was Eco-Ride, Durham, and STA. And so we went through all of that. We asked a number of questions. We asked each one of them to outline some of the things that they were offering in the bids. And so we went through that. So we started with Durham. And so I'll just bring out some of the things that we highlighted from their presentation. 7 new buses in year 1. They offer sign-on and referral bonuses plus attendance incentives. They always do a good job for our workers, offering additional work opportunities. They'll give them an opportunity to clean buses or run field trips or whatever if they're needing some additional work opportunities. As I mentioned, the AI cameras, I think they're phasing those in March. One of the advantages with Durham was local operators familiar with the community. We have established relationships with them. Their operational structure is already in place. They're experienced with us. They know us, and their current workforce is already in place. Eco-Ride, their unique part of the proposal, 12 new buses added if they were to come to Warren County. In their proposal, they highlighted 70% of the fleet would be air conditioned. an average fleet of 7 years. The RFP required that it be an average of 10 years. The maximum fleet age of 12 years. The RFP, again, required that it be 15 years. All buses equipped with the cloud-based camera systems. Again, sign-on or referral bonuses, additional work opportunities, route assessment review for potential cost-saving efficiencies. STA, we're going to bring in 50 brand new buses, just brand new, right off the line. Also talked about sign-on and referral bonuses, the cameras that were already in place. The thing about Student Transportation of America, they have a lot of the technology items that we're actually using in different ways. We use Bus Hive to go through our field trip permissions. STA actually owns Bus Hive, so they would bring that, and that would remove some costs from us, but it's nominal at best. So with that being said, I took the board through all of those items, and then I provided to them the top line item on that sheet again that compared the costs between the proposals. So again, year one cost, we were going 669, 179. The low bidder at that point was Eco-Ride at 3,199,179.40. 179.40. Durham was second in year one. I'm just talking about year one, 3.526, 631. A difference of roughly about 327,000. STA was 3,923,458. And then again, the other two companies that we had ruled out at that point. Taking it to total 3-year contract cost for Eco-Ride would be $10,085,413.06. Durham would be $10,900,464.22. STA $12,368,701.47. So difference of roughly between the lowest bidder of Eco-Ride and Durham during the 3-year contract was $815.51.16. About $2 million difference in STA. So at that point, the board considered those 3 options. I think pretty quickly ruled out STA. Simply again, $2.2 million difference was just too much to handle over 3 years. Again, some of the questions have been about year 4 and year 5. Eco-Ride left theirs as TBD for year 4 and 5. Durham put in a 3% increase across that. And so that was one of the questions that the board had that we talked through, ultimately being that if Eco-Ride went up, if they had put a number down there, if they went up 5%, like they had in previous years, it would still be well below the Durham pricing. And again, as County Executive Bell said, it's a 3-year with a 2 1-year option. So I think the board considered at that point that if we go this route and we get to year 4 and Eco-Ride were to determine they want to raise it 10%, then the school system hasn't lost anything to go back out to bid at that time. And so, again, there was a lot of talk about the fact that the lowest bidder isn't always the best. But ultimately, we felt like with the guarantees that Eco-Ride was making to make sure that they were going to hire our current drivers, bring in a fleet of buses that we could count on and be a good fleet of buses. Also, with the pay raise that the drivers were going to get and the monitors and the employees were going to get, it was something that was fiscally responsible of the school system. If we're going to see that type of savings, even if you don't go to 5 years and $1 million, if you go to 3 years and $815,051.16, that's a significant amount of money that could be made over the course of those 3 years. Or if we continued on into year 4 and year 5, we would continue to see those savings. We asked the question of Eco-Ride why they didn't put a number in year 4 and year 5, and their answer at that point was that once they get, if they're accepted and they got on the ground here in Warren County and saw opportunities for us to lower the number of routes that we were going to make. I'm not sure. I don't know that. That's just their words, not mine. That they might be able to find opportunities to combine some routes and then ultimately save money. And that's the reason they didn't put year 4 and year 5 on the contract. Again, that would be up to them, not, and also would be up to subject to approval of this committee as well as the school board in year 4. So ultimately it boiled down to that. The school board deliberated it through it and talked about a number of options and ultimately made the recommendation unanimously that we accept the bid from Eco-Ride. And so at that point, that's when we go through the correct process of turning that back over to financial management for them to consider. And then some of the, I've been asked a lot of questions this week. One of the things was, why was there a rush? Well, there hasn't been a rush on the part of the school system. We've been working on this for a year, as I told you, for a number of months. But when we opened the bids and we saw that there was a considerable difference in the lowest bidder and the next bidder, we felt like we needed to make sure that the school system heard that, or the school board heard that, so that we could potentially get that to the county commission. Because if this does happen, and if this does happen, there's a lot of work that has to be done in order to make sure that that new company comes in and establishes a workforce, brings their fleet in, and does all that needs to come along with that. So again, not trying to rush that. We're just trying to make sure that we give everybody the chance to be successful when we come through that. So I'll end with this, and certainly want to answer any questions that you have. But many of you called me this week, and we were able to talk through a bunch of issues and talk through a number of things that questions that you had. I'm sorry, number one, that you're dealing with all of the questions that you're getting. And I will reiterate to every one of you, if you call me and ask me and talk to me, I will be happy to answer any of the questions that you have so that you can turn around and talk to the constituents that are calling you. That's my job, and I want to make sure that you all understand. When I give my report later in the county commission meeting, that's what I always say at the end. If you need me, you know where I am, give me a call. I'll be happy to answer that. So with that, I know that's a long-winded presentation, but happy to answer any questions that you might have.
We'll go first. The members of the Education Committee, do any of you have any questions at this time?
Yes.
Okay, Cam?
So. Sorry, not prepared.
If I may, could I get Mr. Bratcher, please?
Sure.
So as a business person myself,
Mhm.
I guess my first question would be, understood 3-year versus 5. But in a business, when you generate any type of total, right? We can do the math on this, and yeah, we're totally different in prices. I got that. And best prices win. I think we could all agree with that. My questions is, why does 4 other companies turn in a certain bid? One does not. I have that question. My question in this, what happens at the end of the 3 years if they do decide to back out? How can that affect us? Are we responsible as a county to push this through in, what are we talking, 4 months, 5 months, summertime? Are we responsible to pay the next company the same amount of money then? I guess that's my question.
Well, I'll try and speak up. I don't have a mic here. And I'm speaking without the benefit of having actually read the RFP or the bids themselves. So I've got just precious little information about this. But I understand that one of the bid proposals was a 3-year with undetermined 4 and 5. And the answer to your question is going to be governed by whatever comes into the actual contract language when we get the documents back from the winning bidder. And we can negotiate terms there to provide us extra cushion to be able to be prepared to exit a contract if we need to go to another company. But yes, ultimately, we will have to provide transportation to the students, and we'll have to do it one way or the other. If we end up with a contract that we're not satisfied with and we want to release ourselves from, we'll have to start the process and be aware of that as soon as possible so that we can be ready to get proper bus service provided for the students with whoever the next company will be.
Who will that cost?
I'm sorry?
Who will that cost be passed to? Is that us as taxpayers, me, myself? Who is that cost passed to us?
Well, those costs are going to be run through the county budget just like any other cost, just like the contract costs. Yeah.
If we get to the 3 and we're right back in the same spot, I guess my question is, and yes, I am ignorant. But in that statement, do we continue, do we push for new? I'm good with that. If they want, they want. No problem. But on the 3-year, I still don't comprehend, I guess it's for everybody. I don't understand when 4 other companies put a 5-year bid. We are the one that we're looking at right now only did a 3-year.
Mhm.
If we get to the 3-year, are we right back in the same exact spot? I guess that was the question.
Potentially that could be the case. I would suggest that it's probably more of a political question than a legal one. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's whether or not it's the right thing to do is going to be something that's outside of my purview. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Look, county purchasing, all you want to ask from the purchasing standpoint, and our purchasing law would dictate that if at the, whatever the exit clause time frame is, there'll have to be one written into the contract, whether that's 6 months, 90 days, whatever it is. At that time, we'll have to have made the decision to renew or not renew. And then if we are not renewing, we would have to do this process again, send it out for bid, open new bids, re-award, go through this particular process again. It's how that will work. And as far as costs go, they'll be based on the people who respond to the next proposal if we elect to not do anything after this.
And that sort of goes back to the answer about how the terms of the contract we'll ultimately be getting are going to govern how we exit in the event we decide to do that. The predictability of the market rates 3 years from now is something that's going to be difficult to really pin down. But yeah, the terms of the contract are going to be very important for that. Yeah.
Robert,
Yes.
that answer that you gave,
Mhm.
that will be the exact same answer with, no matter who we go with, 3 or 5 years as well. So it's really not,
That's right. We've got to go through this every time we get into a new contract. And that could be with a new company, with the same company. It could be 3 years, could be 5 years, whatever we ultimately end up doing. It's going to come to an expiration and we have to go through the process again.
Can you tell people how long we've done, how many times we've done this so far that they may not be aware of?
I mean, I don't know the number of times, but we've done 5-year contracts, I believe, every time. So this would be, 3 years with 5-year options. And we've used the renewals, I believe, every time. And I believe that Durham initially came in 2011. So that we're finishing up our 3rd 5-year cycle, having followed the same process with a 3-year contract, 2 1-year renewals. It just happened to have, I believe, only ever once had a second bidder. So we've always kind of, to stave off that 3-year spike, we've always used the 1-year options. That's my understanding of the history of the situation.
I do have 2 quick. Do you want to, Ruben? Just real quick, probably for Dr. Swallows or anything on the school board. I know we've talked about the financial savings. Is there any other reason other than the proposed financial savings that we're going with somebody else other than Durham?
But I think just ultimately what we talked about with the fact that we had those guarantees of hiring our local force and making sure that we had the raises and everything in place through the bid. We felt like it was the best thing to go with the lower bidder. And again, that was what the school board's carrying notion was.
So no other outside issues influencing anybody's decision to go?
No, certainly not. One of the things that we had to look at was Eco Ride. to make sure that they were able to handle the contract. And so we spent a considerable amount of time going through that, making some phone calls. I talked to, they have one other district in Tennessee. I talked to their director of schools, their transportation supervisor. They've been very, very pleased with them. And so if you go through one of these books here, there's letters of reference. And we also talked to a school district in Missouri. So again, to answer your question, really, I think what carried the school board's decision was the fact that we felt like Eco-Ride could handle the work. We would make sure that we keep our local workforce in place if they so chose. And then the financial savings that we would see over the course of the contract.
And then just out of curiosity, I don't know about surrounding counties, what's the closest county to us that uses Eco-Ride?
So there's only one in Tennessee, and that's Chester County. And so again, spent some time on the phone with them, even talked to their director again today. They went through a transition like this a couple of years ago. Was very, very complimentary of Eco-Ride coming in and hiring their local force. Again, that's up to Eco-Ride and our local workforce. That's important to us. We want them to make sure that they have the opportunity to work and carry our kids. But Chester County was very complimentary of it.
And probably maybe my last question, I don't know for right now. I'm real big on the current employees we have now, because I use them quite a bit over the years for other stuff while doing social work. And this is probably a question I should know, but as far as you mentioned about them wanting to keep everybody local or possibly rehire, is that rehiring process like an automatic, or they have to all reapply for their positions?
So they would come and Eco-Ride said in their presentation that as soon as they were given authorization, of course, again, that's what we talked about with going through this process and doing it as quickly as possible. They would come to Warren County, set up one day to where they try to meet as many of the drivers that are willing to meet with them through a cookout or whatever they want to do, give them the opportunity to set that work and process, go through checking all the boxes and doing all those things. Again, I understand that's where a lot of the hesitancy comes from our workforce. I get it. Change is not easy. We certainly understand that. But at the same time, we felt very comfortable with the fact that they were going to help them through this process.
Thank you.
I've got a question for Justin. Since 2011, on the contracts we've signed with the different school bus companies, have any of them not disclosed the rate increases for years 4 and 5?
We've only ever used Durham. And again, we've only ever had one other bidder respond. So no one has ever left off years 4 and 5.
Director Flaws, if you would, I know you discussed this with the company, reiterate why they left the years 4 and 5 off, and reiterate that we are only bidding on a 3-year contract right now. That's what we are approving right now.
Yeah, so when we saw that, again, we saw what you see, that it was not written there, it was TBD. So we asked that question, and again, I'll just say what I said in my original presentation. They felt like they could potentially offer more savings in year 4 and year 5 if that came to it, once they had a better understanding of what our operations were. Again, there were just 2 things that gave, I think, the school board and I some comfort, is that even if they came in some crazy number, then it's a 3-year contract, we go out to bid. But as I did calculations, even if they went up 7% and other bidders were at 0%, Eco-Ride still would have been the low bidder. So again, I just felt like at that point, it was just savings that I felt like our school district couldn't pass up, because of the fact that if we would have gone the other direction, if we would have stayed with Durham and paid more in the contract over time, we would have had just as many people asking us why are you paying more of our tax dollars for another company when there was a lowest bidder out there? So again, that's the reason I apologized to you all before. Either way we go here, there's going to be people frustrated because ultimately, if we go with a higher bidder, that's more money. If you go with a lower bidder, you're hurting other people. And so we get all that. I understand it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point. I'm glad that we're asking these questions and just again, be as transparent with you as I can be.
One more thing, I spoke to our lawyer, Mr. Bratcher, and Director Cotton, and there is literally no contract in that 4th and 5th year because it's open-ended. So legally, we cannot enter into that 4th and 5th year contract without having a firm number. So the 4th and 5th year is literally a moot point tonight. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Executive Bill, and this may need to wait until public comment. I have a few questions for the current employee. Should I wait on that?
No, if it concerns this, yeah, go ahead and have Robert.
And I don't know if some of the current employees have if someone wants to speak, but because some of these questions I got answered as far as the rehire. I want to hear from the employees here. Tell us the reasons why you wouldn't go with the new company versus doing what you have now specifically.
There, can you hear me?
No, could you walk up here, please?
And the reason why I'm asking this is because to me, and I totally understand tactfully the savings, but there's two parts of everything. I want to understand from the people currently doing this, has been doing it for 11 years, as to why, since there's going to be a process of possibly getting rehired with a company that is going to pay more and offer more. But I want to hear it from the current employees, like how they feel about that. Like that's important, I think, if we're addressing everything tonight.
Okay, well, I've got a bus driver voice, so I'm not gonna stand back. But me personally, I have a few questions myself for a new company. We have heard that we will not be able to bring our underage school children. Okay, I started driving 27 years ago because I could bring my son with me at 6 months old. And he rode that bus until he was 16 and able to drive to the high school. Okay, I am now helping with my grandson. He is 4 years old. If he can't come with me, I will not be driving because that is my job. And I hate it because I will leave all my Dibble kids because they're like my own. And I've been driving them probably 23 of those years, even though Durham came in. Yes, when the school system sold us out back in the day, yes, I didn't want to go with Durham. And actually, I couldn't go with Durham because I worked at Bridgestone and he wouldn't let me work there. Okay, when the guy come in to do our hiring. So we don't know what qualifications this new company is going to come in. And there's people that's been driving for 50 years, 40 years. They're like, why would we go with another company? Let us just retire. Because it's just, and even if we do it again in 3 years, it's just a constant battle. We know what we have with Durham. We know that we're going to get a $6 raise when this comes up. We know that for a fact. We don't know what we're going to get if it's $22 an hour and they just add a quarter. We don't know what their scale is. We don't know, but we know what we've got with Durham, that we know when we get on that bus and we say prayer every morning over these kids and this school system. We say, every one of us drivers say prayer over that radio every day. I'm Monday, somebody else is Tuesday, Joey's Wednesday. We all have a set schedule. We know what we've got with Durham. Durham has our back. We know personally for the past 15 years, we know what we've got. And yes, I know it's county taxpayers. I'm one of them and everybody else is one of them. But we know what our life is and we have a set schedule and a set budget. We're not in this for a career. We do this because we love the kids of Warren County. And I know Echo Ride, they might want to be that, but we do LifeWise now for free. For free. We don't ask for nothing. We go to NHC and do do runs to Grand Ole Opry. Me and Kayla, we went up there for free. We didn't charge them residents for nothing. We did it for free. We go after the senior citizens and we do it for free. We do it because that's what we love to do. So if there's stipulations that would have to be met for me, if not, I will be going to Coffee County or somewhere else to drive. And I know some of these fellow drivers here will walk with me because that's just we are a family at Durham and that's what we want to stick with.
Understand, and I apologize. Tell me your name again.
Amy Cartwright.
Oh, yes, hi, Amy.
Yes.
Thank you, Amy. Is there anybody else that wanted to come up and speak?
Sorry, I had to write it down. This is really important to me, so I'm sorry if I am emotional. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Elaine Adams, and I'm a safety trainer. I'm a bus driver. I drive bus 1039, and I have for almost 10 and a half years. I am so grateful and proud to work for and be a part of the Durham Company. This job is not just a job, it's a calling. I love that our company says the prayer, like Amy said, over the radio for all of our children, for us bus drivers, for the whole company. The safety and well-being of these students, whom I call my bus babies and that I love, and they all know that I love them. I tell them that. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I do because they're my babies. I've been on the same route for the whole 10 and a half years, so I have watched them grow from kindergarten to some of them graduating. And their safety is my number one priority. This company, Durham, has a very high safety standard. We do daily safety messages as well as monthly safety meetings to see what we can do to improve our safety. I know their safety standards and the responsibility of each of us that we are held to. Speaking on EchoRide, just from the research that I have done myself, I see a lot of discrepancies and things that people have talked about that have worked for them. Parents that have children that are on their buses, things like dropping students off in unapproved locations, not reporting accidents. I know with Durham that would never fly. Nothing like that because they care about our students. They care about us drivers. And the price, how do you put a price on a child's life? I don't understand that. I understand that, like she said, things have to be approved, but these are our babies. These are y'all's babies. And their safety should be number one. And if you go with a company that doesn't have those same safety standards, I don't know that they have those same safety standards. I'm a safety trainer. I know what safety standards we have, and they are very strict and we abide by them because our babies are important. They matter. I do know about the bid that y'all talked about. I don't understand how all these companies could do a 5-year and then this other one does a 3-year and then that's the one you want to go with. That to me doesn't make sense. I just ask that all of y'all please do your due diligence and research this company for yourself. Thank y'all.
There's maybe a couple more if there's someone else who would like to speak.
Y'all bear with me. I don't speak in front of a lot of people. Good afternoon, County Commissioners. I am speaking on behalf of my fellow co-workers and myself here at Durham School Services. As all of y'all know, it is contract year for Transportation Department here in Warren County School System. We here at Durham knew it was contract year, but didn't know what to expect, especially when a 5-year contract when 5 contractors put in the bid. At this point, it was a waiting game for all of us. A week later, interviews. Luckily, Durham was one of the 3 to get called for interviews. And of course, after the interviews, it's still waiting game. Monday, February the 9th, 2026, Warren County Board of Education held a rush meeting to discuss bus contracts. It was open for whomever wanted to attend. A regional manager, general manager, safety supervisor, dispatcher, 3 senior drivers, a driver of 6 years, and myself, a driver of 5 years, and a safety trainer for 1, attended the meeting to hear the discussion of the contracts that were interviewed. As the top 3 contractors, Echo Ride, Durham, and STA info appeared on the screen. Superintendent Grant Swallows and board members discussed each one broken down money-wise. It was mentioned how great it was to work with Durham, but they just couldn't see taxpayers spending over $1 million extra for transportation within a year. But it was also mentioned that cheaper wasn't always better, as Echo Ride was the cheapest. At the end of the meeting, they had voted on Echo Ride as a new contractor. Now let me explain a little something as I seen and heard during the meeting. Grant stated that number 1, we want the best for our student experience. Number 2, we wanted to take care of the kids, take care of the people that take care of our kids, but our drivers and our employees, which are our drivers and our employees. When it all boils down to it, to the money part, so I'm sorry, y'all. When it all boils down to the money part, so maybe the money part should have been number 1, then come along number 2 and number 3. And now that's just the way I feel after sitting through the meeting. And to say that to take care of the drivers, you may ask, as in what? Because here at Durham, most of the employees do not feel appreciated by the superintendent. To him, we are just bodies that get the children to and from school. Let me speak about the great company that we work for that does appreciate us. Is this a degree job for me? Absolutely not. But it works great for my children's schedule. And I'm able to bring my 2-year-old to work with me. Do I love my job? Absolutely. Do I love the people that I work with? Absolutely. We all help each other out in a way, no matter the situation. We have a boss that has our back, no matter the circumstance, and we all are like family. When it comes to our bus babies, we are just as important. They are just as important to me as my own children. As for me, I drive a special ed bus, and my babies mean the world to me. I have been with them for 5 years, and I could not imagine ever leaving them. I have seen them get on the bus, not able to speak at all, and to grow within the 5 years, speaking and cutting up every single route. As I come to a close, I do wish for y'all to consider voting Durham, as safety to us is more than money. I ask myself, if Durham doesn't get the contract, who will care for my babies? Will they take care of them like I do? It hurts my heart to even think about it. I don't want to leave them, but at the end of the day, from what I have been read, I cannot bring my child to work with me, and unfortunately, time is precious, and I will have to go find another job. Thank you.
If there's any other comments from the Education Committee? Oh, I do. There was one more coming up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and turn over to our committees and address the vote.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zena Curtis. I drive 1545. I agree with everything Michaela said. It was beautifully well said. I come to you all with a humble and prayerful heart. Durham is more than a location or a position. It is a place where God's hand is clearly at work. This job is not just employment to me, it's a calling. That is what our boss said when I first walked in to get this job. It is where service, compassion, and obedience to God met real people with real needs. As a single parent, this role uniquely allows me to walk in both of my God-given callings at the same time, to serve faithfully and to raise my 3 children in love, presence, and stability. Being able to bring my babies with me is not just a convenience. It's a blessing that allows me to remain whole, grounded, and fully devoted to the work that sits before me. It teaches them compassion, responsibility, and what it truly means to serve others with a willing heart. But this is not only about me. Durham creates a space for others who may otherwise be forced to choose between providing for their families and being present for them. It offers dignity, grace, and opportunity to parents, caregivers, and those answering God's calls in their lives. It reflects community where people are unseen and seen, supported, and valued, not just for what they produce, but for what they are. I also feel led to speak honestly about safety. At the end of the day, safety matters more than money. While decision may appear to boil down to finances, the true cost measures in people, especially children. The children you may see as simply students or riders become our children. The moment they step into that bus, as we said in our own words during this speech, we are first the ones that they see in the morning, the ones they last see at the end of the day. We set the tone. We are their calm, their reassurance, and their consistency. We make them feel safe. They're not just children in our eyes. They're like our own babies, entrusted to us by God and by their families. Durham supports that safety. It supports drivers and staff who know these children by name, who notice when something feels off, who protects and nurture and love them as they were our own. The kind of care that cannot be measured on a balance sheet. I truly believe God opens doors with intentions. Durham feels like one of those doors, a place planted for a reason at a time when compassion, stability, and safety are deeply needed. Closing would not only affect a job, it would diminish a space where God is effective. And moving through with people who serve with a heart. I ask you to prayerfully consider keeping Durham open. I trust that whatever decision is made, God will guide it. But I felt led to speak, to stand in faith, and to share how deeply this place matters, not just as my family, but to the many lives, especially children's lives, it touches every single day. Thank you for listening, for your leadership, and for considering this forum a place of faith and wisdom and compassion with gratitude and prayer.
Thank you very much. So at this time, are there any members of the Education Committee that would like to make a recommendation to the Financial Management Committee on the awarding the student transportation bid?
I apologize, Carlene, it broke out. What did you actually, can you repeat what you just said?
Our Education Committee members, is there anyone here that would like to make a recommendation to the Financial Management Committee on how they would award the student transportation bid?
I'll make a recommendation, me personally, that we stick with Durham Bus Services.
I hear a motion. Is there a second to that motion? A second? All in favor, say aye. I had one aye, two ayes, three. Okay, I better do a roll call. Cam Montgomery, please.
Yes.
Chris Ruby. James Hines. Philip Stout. There is a motion to recommend to the Financial Committee that we stay with Durham school buses. And now I'm going to turn it over to Executive Bell and the Financial Committee.
All right, so we've got this in front of financial management now. And first off, I want to ask Robert a little bit about, well, how do we handle if we go with a bidder that is higher? I know we can say the best bidder, but you've got to prove that there's a problem with the other bidder. Am I not correct?
That's generally right. There's wide latitude for the county commission to make all kinds of decisions in its ordinary business. But when you're talking about accepting bids, you have an obligation to the taxpayer with a commensurate statute that says you have to go with the lowest and best bidder. Now, I put emphasis on lowest and best. It's not just the lowest figure. It's the lowest and best figure for the community. It's got to be, there's various reasons why you might not go with the actual numerically lowest bidder. But when you make that choice, you have to have a good faith basis for why you did not choose the lowest figure, because you're setting yourself up to be attacked for not choosing that lowest bidder. So again, it is the lowest and best, but it is very important that there has to be a good articulable reason, a good faith cause for not choosing the lowest bidder. And that's where we get into the due diligence of discovering each company, what they offer, if it matches the request for proposal, if they're in good standing in the community, if they can provide the services that they promise. All those things are very important in coming to that decision.
Anybody else on financial management have a question for them?
I do, Mr. Chairman. My question is, would this kind of decision bring the comptroller to investigate why we went with the higher bidder? Would that be?
Well,
I can get that one.
yeah,
They'll
Director
definitely-
Cotton has a lot of experience with him.
They'll definitely ask, because
Yeah.
they review almost all bids that we award. They do a large sampling of that, and if they see one where we have gone with not the lowest bidder, they will ask for recorded reasons why we did not.
Part of the comptroller's charge is to make sure that every taxpayer is protected. They'll look into this, of course, but there's also the case that the denied low bidder would have the right to sue. And that's another concern. Separate from the state entities, it'd be a private civil action.
Any more questions?
I just have one to confirm. How many employees does Durham have? I had 81, but I may be wrong. Tanya, 84? Thank you.
Anybody on financial management have any other questions? I know this is a hard decision for everybody because it puts the county commissioners in a bad place. We've got a situation where we have no actual legal proof not to accept the low bidder. But yet, we've got a bunch of individuals, and for me, myself, I want the bus drivers protected. I want it either way, that the Eagle Ride, I want Mr. Grant to answer that they're going to get their $22 if we went with the other company, and they will be able to be employed with that company. Am I correct?
It is written in the contract, it has to be starting pay $22. Now, she made a great point. They don't know the scale, and she's right on that. So that is an area that they don't know, but again, we won't know that until we enter into those.
Until you actually get a contract, then you will have the scale when we come back in March that they can look at.
As I said in my proposal, they assured us in the proposal that across the board, nobody's gonna go backwards. It will be a scale just like what they're experiencing. And I will also say, again, there's been considerable amount of research done. If we felt like Eco Ride could not handle the work or did not have the safety standards that are absolutely necessary, I do not believe the board would have even considered that. So I certainly understand their concerns. They make great points, and I'm not going to speak to any of those other than to say, from the board's perspective and school system's perspective, we did a lot of due diligence on the companies. And again, just as you said, a low bidder deserves that due diligence, and we felt like there was nothing that would exclude them from being able to provide the services.
And I do want to ask one of the bus drivers, I don't want any personal information, but what does the bus driver start at now?
That's with the $3 increase that our company did with no financial backing.
So they start at 16, so either way you go, everybody's going to $22 that's willing to work and do that.
That would, as they said, that would be the case with all of the bidders, because the school system put that in the.
All right, anybody on financial management have any questions?
Dr. Swallows, I hear a bunch of concerns from bus drivers about being able to bring their children. Is there a way for that to be worked into the contract so that?
Pretty par for the course. That can be a question that certainly can be asked. We can ask I believe there would probably have to be school system approval on that, but I can't grant that unilaterally. But again, I just can't imagine it would be a sticking point, but we'd have to ask the company.
I do have one more thing. I've been notified that the senior center wants it known that they do pay for when they do bus trips. That was just notified to me. Does anybody else on financial management have any questions? Does anybody else on the committees have a question, or the county commission?
Mr. Wallace, back here. Got a couple of questions. Some of the drivers are very concerned about where they take their buses home. Has this been discussed with the other company that they would still be allowed to do that? No, I have another question after that.
Yes, sir. We did ask that question. They would allow park outs. It would be on an approval basis, just like I believe it is currently. If it makes sense for a driver to park out to where they're not having to come to town, drive into town, go back out, then that company would approve that, yes.
Also, everybody here has probably looked on the internet at the safety comparisons. But I'm sure that between yourself and all the school board and the employees, you can dig a lot deeper into the safety records. None of them are perfect. I've looked and most of them 3 stars, maybe just a little over 3 stars, all anybody got. I just wonder if y'all have dug deeper to see what the safety standards are for this company.
Yeah, so again, Durham does a great job with that. Again, as a part of, there are minimum standards for every company that they have to do. I think Durham takes extra steps, as does most of the companies that we talk to. I will say that many of you know Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson was a part of the statewide school student transportation as his job. Ray actually retired back and went to work for the school system. He was a part of this committee. And I put a lot of stock in what Ray tells me and the research that he does. And so again, I just want to reiterate, you know, we feel the exact same way of what was communicated tonight. We would not want to put anybody in harm's way. Ultimately, if we did not have confidence that a company could do the job, we wouldn't want to put our kids in that setting.
Anybody else have any more questions? I do want to say one thing, regardless of what motion comes out of this, hopefully some of these other questions, Mr. Wallace can get some clarification. I hope that we can keep to where the bus drivers can pray to our kids. I think that's important. So when they're negotiating with that, and maybe life-wise, where they're helping those folks, that there's some things, if, according to what anybody on financial management wants to make a motion. And at that time, I'll ask somebody if they want to make a motion.
Mr. Chairman. Over here. Thank you. I just want to say, LifeWise does pay the driver to transport the children back and forth.
Thank you. So we're back to financial management, and we have 5 members present tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say one more thing. Typically, this is very uncharacteristic of the county commission to have a recommendation from a particular committee and go an opposing direction. But we've been doing this, some of us, too long, but we work hard at it. Director Swallows could verify that I have pestered him to no end for the past 7 days, but we've been on the phone, Executive Bell and I, for literally hours trying to figure out what the best thing to do here, trying to gather information. And we've gathered the information to the best of our ability. And I think as a financial management and a budget and finance committee, we can say that we have been fiscally conservative with the funds of Warren County and the taxpayers' dollars. And I know we've heard all the worst case scenarios about what could happen with ECO. But on the other hand, we could be getting a better company. We don't know that. These are all hypotheticals, I know. But it would be fiscally irresponsible for me to vote to throw out the window $1 million worth of savings in 3 years. We're constantly, Director Swallows knows this, we're always gouging him about spending money with the school system. And I talked to one of the school board members, and he said, if we had sent this to financial management, just no questions asked, Durham, $1 million extra, I think it would have bounced back immediately back to the school board, and they've been back to the drawing board and square one. So that being said, I have the utmost concern. I've got dear friends that drive school buses, and if we thought that this was going to jeopardize their jobs or their well-being in any way, we wouldn't be making this decision. But that being said, I think right now the best thing for us to do and be responsible is to approve ECO for 3 years, and I put that in form of motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I second everything that Scott just said. I had a lot of great conversations with some of the bus drivers, some of the veterans, some of the ones that drove me when I was a little bitty fella. And I appreciate each and every one of you out there. I really do. And I know your job's not always easy. It's a struggle at times. Because like I said, I used to ride the bus, and I know what a struggle I was to deal with. But like Scott said, we have a responsibility to do as county commissioners. And as soon as I found this information out, I went directly and started calling the heads of the streams. And that's Director Swallows. He can tell you, he's talked to me more in the last 7 days than he has since he's been school director. I've discussed it with Terry. I've discussed it with several different people. I've called and asked some questions. Like I said, I have talked with a couple of the school bus drivers. I don't know if they're here tonight or not. I've got several emails. To those of you that emailed that I didn't get to respond to, I'm sorry, but I know I did try to respond to a few of them. I think a lot of what happens is sometimes we turn to social media and we worry because what I've come to gather, people are worried, scared about change, and I understand that. But sometimes it's better to back up, try to gather all the information you can than just assuming something. And as commissioners, that is our job to do. We're not to just call the heads of the streams. Everybody here as a commissioner, we got everybody's number. If there's something going on within the school system that I'm concerned about, the first person I call is Grant, or I call the school board. If there's something going on with the highway department, I call Levy Glenn. Same vice versa with the sheriff's department. I call those guys to try to get all the information that I can to make a good, educated decision based on what's best for our community, and not only for our community, but also for their pocketbooks. And it's our job as commissioners. We're checks and balances. That's what we do. Am I correct on that, Mr. Bell? We're checks and balances at the end of the day. And there's not a person in, I know I'm looking out across the crowd, and I know more bus drivers than I realized that I knew. I know a lot of families out here. I got kids that play ball with some of your children. And it's not anything towards y'all, but everything that I have looked into is they're going to hire our employees, our qualified drivers. And I'm going to say this, I don't mean it ugly, but I know you hear qualified, you wonder what the qualifications are. Well, I'm sure their qualifications are pretty much about the same across the board. And I say that because I feel like it's not easy to get bus drivers. So their qualifications can't be too crazy. And I'm sorry, but if you're not qualified, I don't want you driving our children to start with. But I care about all of y'all. But I'm going to second Scott's motion because I think that's the best thing what we've got to do. We've got to be good stewards of county taxpayer dollars. And that's what our job is to do. Any more discussion on financial management? I know this is a hard vote for everybody, and it is not over. Like I told you, there will be a contract that will be brought forward at the March County Commission meeting. It takes 13 votes to pass that contract. And a lot of these concerns, I hope Mr. Swallows, when he negotiates that contract, takes these things, concerns you've got, because we want you to still be bus drivers. We know you're serving our county well. But it is a problem that the county commissioners are in here tonight, where we've got a lower bidder that we can't prove can't do the job. So at this time, I'm going to ask Justin call roll.
Executive Bill,
Yes.
Director Swallows,
Yes.
Commissioner Rubley,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
5-0.
The motion passes 5-0. Now we'll move on. Carlene, do you want to do anything with education or do you want to call your meeting out? Because we've got a lot of financial things we've got to do before our full county board meeting.
There I have a motion from the Education Committee that we adjourn. We're officially adjourned and we can continue to listen to Mr. Bell and the items that they need to do for tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll move on and I'll turn it over to Mr. Scott Ruble. You're going to hear some budget amendments come up, and the reason that budget and finance will handle it and then financial management will handle it because that's procedure that we go through every time. So it has to go through budget, finance, and then financial management. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Scott Ruble.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on the agenda is GFFY 2526-26. This one was removed from the agenda a couple weeks ago, and they've got some details straightened out. But basically, this is some opioid abatement money, and it is going to Family Recovery Court. At the bottom of the amendment, you'll see the various functions that it's going to cover. This is $11,000, and it is restricted funds. Motion from Commissioner Bolden. Second, Commissioner Taylor. Anyone want to speak to the motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Executive Bill.
Motion carries. I'll turn it over to.
I just had a question. This is not my committee, but on that, we just appropriated, can you, the family treatment courts that are recovery?
Yeah.
It may not matter for this, but just
Yeah,
saying,
I'll make that note.
because it's a different legal thing.
We will have to amend the docket, Chris. I'll put that on it here in just a little bit. So we'll do that.
Okay, just want to make sure.
All right, now in financial management, we got the same budget amendment from financial management, and these are restricted opioid funds which can't be used for anything. And it's family treatment court. That's a new thing that's being implemented. I hear a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Got a motion, Mr. Swallows. I hear a second. Second, Mr. Taylor. Any questions? All those in favor of approving the amendment, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Let's see, does change order need to go for budget and finance or just finance? All right, the next one is our jail sewer project. Oh, we got the EMS grant first, our budget finance, and they'd handle that.
Yeah, this is for our ambulance service, and I'll let Justin speak to this one.
This is a grant that has been extended to the EMS department, this is the contract. Executive Bell needs approval before he can sign it. We'll bring the budget amendment for this back next month. But we want to get started so that way I can bring the amendment officially the next month. Full grant, no county funds. We've actually already, they're reimbursing us for things we've already bought.
Motion from Commissioner Bolden. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Ross. Anyone want to speak to the motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive Bell.
All right, we got the same amendment and reimbursement grant from the EMS and from financial management. I hear a motion to approve. Got a motion, Ms. Ross.
Second.
Got a second, Mr. Swallows. Any questions? All those in favor of approving the amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Now we're on to the jail sewer project change order, which will just come before financial management. This is actually the grant that we had at the jail to fix the sewer project, and we are needing to fix this change order.
Yeah, this is a change order to reduce the total project cost by, I believe, $32,000. $32,951.79.
Motion approved.
Got a motion, Mr. Rubley. Second, Mr. Taylor. Any questions? Being none, all those in favor of approving the report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, the next budget amendment we have is for the sanitation department. They have negotiated a price to purchase some land that we needed at one of the convenience centers. The price is $12,500. And I could let Executive Bell speak to where we intend to get the funds. There's a LATCF restricted fund, and I'll let you speak to that, Executive Bell.
Yes, I was able, when I first got elected, to go to a conference where we could get some Indian reservation money, that we're tribal money, that we were actual to get, and we received $100,000 of those. And I asked this county court to approve money for us to get the command center for the sheriff out of those. We're having to fill out reports for those funds. And so I'm asking that we use these funds to purchase the ground at Centertown Convenience Center, because we can use those for that. They're restricted to anything that helps the public, is what they're restricted to. So I would love for y'all to use those funds to purchase this ground, and we're trying our best to get this convenience center to where it'll be a drive-through before our sanitation director.
And like to add that we discussed this, and Director Roberts can reiterate that, but it's going to cost thousands of dollars if we had to relocate this. This is a little pricey for a piece of property, but it's a bargain, a huge bargain in the long run. And I'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion from Commissioner Taylor, is there a second? Second from Commissioner Bolden. Anyone want to speak to that motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive Bell.
We've got the same budget amendment in front of financial management. You've heard the explanation. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion, Mr. Taylor, second from Ms. Ross. Any questions about the amendment? Being none, all those in favor of approving it, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, passes 5-0. Turn it back over to Mr. Rubley. All right, we'll move on down. We don't have any surplus property tonight.
I didn't read that, so.
No, Grant, you've not got it? Don't have anything? Anybody else we give some public comment, but if anybody in the public wants to get up and say anything, you're welcome to get up and say it right now.
Good evening. My name's Hale Driver. I'm Region Manager with Durham School Services. I just wanted to kind of recap the conversations from my people. So again, thank you. So I've been the region manager that has oversight over Warren County for the past 5 years. And I think you saw tonight that this location really operates as a true family. So just wanted to reiterate that. I just wanted to thank y'all for the opportunity to come here and speak tonight, and for y'all to hear our family talk. We're thankful to be a district partner since 2011. We have a consistent track record for the past 15 years with a heavy focus on safety, timeliness, and efficiency. We have consistently partnered with the district to be fiscally responsible by keeping costs down without negatively impacting operations or performance. There's transparency in our invoicing practices, and we're upfront and communicated all annual increases throughout the term of all of our agreements. We have a commitment to our employees. We've done annual increases every year that we've had the contract for our drivers. What we get from the district in rate increases, we pass that along to our employees. We did a significant wage increase of $3 an hour for every employee this year, and that was solely funded by the company. We felt that was important to do so, not just to maintain operations, but to take care of them and give them a livable wage. Our current proposal, we feel that it would allow the district to minimize risk and possible disruption by continuing service with a known improvement contractor that is familiar with the district, schools, and students of Warren County. Provide a significant wage increase to all drivers, including those with seniority beyond the minimum starting wage requirements as outlined in the RFP. We have committed to a 3% annual increase in all the outer years of the contract to give you guys confidence in your budgeting over the course of the next 5 years. We would love the opportunity to further discuss any other potential savings opportunities that we might be able to give to you and the students in the schools of Warren County. In conclusion, just wanted to reiterate how proud we are of the 15-year partnership with Warren County Schools and the community in which we serve. We're proud of the dedication and loyalty of all of our employees. We're proud of the efforts of our local team day in and day out. We're proud of the 28 new community members that we've hired over the past 12 months. In closing, we're proud to stand before you tonight knowing that we are the best partner for you going forward. And thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any public comment? Does any commissioner have any comment?
I do, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of things that have happened during this period that I'm not real happy about. Accusations have been made, and forgive me, I'm a little upset, but I'm going to read a couple of quotes that really disturbed me. And these were sent to me on screenshots on Facebook, from Facebook, social media, I'll say. As a sitting commissioner, I sense some foul play. Second comment, you may learn some stuff you didn't know about your lovely leaders of our county. My question is who are you referring to? And what did you mean by foul play? And if the commissioner would like to stand up and respond, that's
Any
fine.
single person that would sit in that shoe, any single person. If that's you, or you, or you, or you, it don't matter. It does not matter.
Let me ask you something, Commissioner Montgomery. Did you reach out to Director Swallows to gather information on this topic?
Is it my job to reach out to you?
Yes, sir, absolutely. When you allege foul play with commissioners, I'm assuming, did you reach out to Executive Bell or Director Cotton or me or anybody else on Budget Finance? No, you started on social media, and I don't appreciate it one bit. I worked my butt off in this county commission, and if this is directed at me, I don't appreciate it not one bit.
If it was, I would call your name.
Well, you didn't call any names, and that's the problem. There's a lot of ambiguity in your statements, and I think you need to direct it to the.
If you got butthurt, then you're a part of the problem.
I did my homework. You did not, sir.
Because I'm not on that clique over there.
That's right.
That is correct. Because I'm not.
How many times have you been in the county executive's office since you've been elected to the county commission?
One time.
There you go.
What does that mean, Mr. Scott?
When I need information from the county, I go to Executive Bell.
The information was here tonight. 81 people. 81. And stood up. I don't need to come here to ask questions. There's
Okay.
81 people.
All right.
What was the question? That it was sent out for a 5-year, right?
No, it's.
I will clarify this. I was told clearly, we have 7 days, right or wrong? 7 days from the time this thing came out. Is that right? That I could have known about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I knew about it day one because I got Director Swallows.
7 days. Last Tuesday morning, correct? Wednesday morning, let me rephrase that. It got sent out in a mass text or a mass email, right or wrong?
Correct.
So we're voting on $20 million in 7 days.
No, sir, you got 30 more days. It's going to be 37 days from the time you found out about this till we vote on it.
Correct. So what was the issue? That I put it on social media?
That you said, I suspect foul play.
I always suspect foul play. Is that not politics?
That's good.
It's politics.
All right, no one else has anything else. I entertain the motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right, there, second. Second, all those in favor say aye.
Motion to adjourn Budget Finance. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Bolden. All in favor say aye. We're adjourned.